back when I worked in palliative care, I went to a home visit to see a middle-aged man who had prostate cancer and had metastasized to his bones, and he was in a lot of pain. But he wasn't taking any of his morphine. Well, not very often anyway, which seemed a little bit unusual. And when I talked to him about it, it was actually because he'd had a really bad episode in the past of being constipated. And constipated to the point of needing to go to hospital to get de-impacted, kind of constipated. So the fear of getting constipated again was greater than the desire to use morphine to manage his pain, which is pretty significant, I think. And I guess the reason I wanted to talk about this case was the concept of adherence and what we think about adherence and medication taking behavior. Because it often gets sort of thrown around, the statistic that we've known for ages, 50% of people don't take their medicines as prescribed by their doctor. But, and we, there's a lot of talk around dose administration aids, things like that, to improve rates of non-adherence. And that's, those are really important measures for unintentional non-adherence. So, forgetfulness, needing to routinize behaviors and things like that. But 2/3 of non-adherence is actually intentional decisions by people to take their medications in a different way. Such as this case, where the fear around adverse effects had outweighed the necessity of taking it. That's talked about, there's a few frameworks that talk about that, the necessity versus concerns and attitudes and beliefs around medicines. And if the attitudes are negative and outweigh the necessity, then, they'll change from how they're supposed to take their medicines. The other thing that often gets talked about is health literacy. And there's an interesting literature review that looked at the relationship between health literacy and non-adherence. And what they found was that while rates of non-adherence are highest in people with low health literacy, and that's probably relating to unintentional non-adherence, rates of non-adherence improve as health literacy improve, but then they worsen again. They don't worsen as much as with the low health literacy, but they do worsen again. And there's a sort of thought that that rate of non-adherence in those with higher health literacy is actually around that, intentional non-adherence. So I guess I just wanted to talk about, non-adherence. It's not just about accidents. Sometimes it's around intentional decisions. And, how can we what can we do to positively influence that?